Welcome to an archival episode of Monday Movie Pickup. Alright, they had the recent for I believe it's $44 now, Warner Archive sale. They usually do this for the anniversaries of the Warner Archive, so just looked out for a couple to get, but you know, now that they have a deal where once you get the first four, each additional title is only an additional, I believe it's like $12 in price, whatever the breakdown is between the 4 for $44, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe it's 4 for $46 or $48, something like that. Whatever it may be. I'm keeping up with the Warner Archive collection. Some different releases that have been done in the last 2 years I've been looking at. And then here we have the three Godfathers. So, John Wayne, the 1948 film, but also included on here is the 1936 edition of the film. So, pretty much two movies for the price of one. It's hard to turn down a title like that. I may not know much about the three Godfathers, but like I said, you can't really go wrong with two titles in one collection. So, pretty cool release from Warner Archive. Moving on to something that isn't exactly Warner Archive and yet was part of the sale. So this is the Batman series, Beware the Batman. This was a short-lived series that was done through Adult Swim. So you can see it has all the titles in two different volumes. For some reason they have included on here to go to kidswb.com, which now is just a link that brings you to their YouTube page. This was never on the Kids WB, I don't believe. I think it was only ever on Adult Swim, so don't really know what that's all about. But regardless, another Batman series on Blu-ray that I have completed. I think the only one that I don't have the releases for is Brave and the Bold. I'll have to keep an eye on that, but always a bunch of different Batman Blu-rays to get. We have here a bunch of releases from the Warner Archive, pretty much finishing their best picture releases. So Broadway Melody, I already owned this on DVD, but I upgraded it along with Cimmaron. Yeah, often considered one of the worst best picture winners nowadays. Finally released on Blu-ray, so I have purchased nearly every best picture winner on Blu-ray, except for a few that are only on DVD. Coda, for instance, is not available in the US on Blu-ray, and then there's Oppenheimer, which I have yet to purchase. Same with Anora. I'm waiting for the Criterion edition of Anora, but in the meantime I decided I'm going to get these other releases from Warner Archive of everything else that they still needed to get on Blu-ray. The only title now that is from Warner Brothers that has not been released on Blu-ray is Around the World in 80 Days. I understand, though, that there's a process to getting this one released on Blu-ray, a difficult restoration process, so we'll have to see if this ever gets completed. I don't know if there's been any news on getting a Blu-ray release for this one, but that's the last of the Warner titles that needs to be released on Blu-ray. I do want to point out, too, that at least with The Life of Emile Zola, it doesn't include everything that was on the DVD release, so I'm gonna have to keep this DVD handy for some of the additional special features, but regardless, it's on Blu-ray. That makes me happy. And then we have The Great Ziegfeld. So really cool that Warner is finally getting to releasing all these other movies that won Best Picture on Blu-ray. And then we have, here's a fun one, The Cyclops. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any special features. This movie is pretty famous nowadays for being incredibly goofy, a pretty dumb B-movie, kind of up there along with another release that they did, From Hell It Came, similar in style, just a goofy B-movie that not a lot of people talk about except for how extremely silly it is nowadays, but now you can watch it in beautiful Blu-ray quality. We have some Elvis releases. Yes, Warner is working on getting some more of these Elvis titles on Blu-ray. So here is Harum, Scarum. And I had this movie on DVD along with Speedway and The Trouble with Girls. Those ones have not been released on Blu-ray as of yet, but slowly trying to grow my Elvis collection as I have done in videos previously. Here's another one. It Happened at the World's Fair. So I'm gonna guess that this one was released, okay, 1963. That would have been around the time that the New York World's Fair was going on. A more recent movie from 2006, A Prairie Home Companion, with an absolute stacked cast, as you can see there. Some different special features. This was a movie that was shot in Minnesota, and weirdly enough, I have never seen. That's, given that I am a Minnesota boy, I probably should have seen this movie by now. A Prairie Home Companion is a popular radio show from Minnesota, which the movie is based on, so it's about time I finally own the movie to be a true Minnesotan. Another double pack. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost and Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. So before they had released on DVD a double pack of the Alien Invaders and then Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Zombie Island was released on Blu-ray, but it came with the sequel that wasn't very good and was very loosely connected to the original movie. So I'm happy that they finally got these two titles on Blu-ray. I didn't have The Witch's Ghost on DVD, but I was holding on to the Alien Invaders double pack with Zombie Island because this movie had not yet been released on Blu-ray. Now that it's been released, I can retire that DVD. And hopefully they continue to do some more of these Scooby-Doo movies, the earlier ones that have never been on Blu-ray. And then we have, last but not least, a bunch of Tex Avery releases. After he was done doing the Looney Tunes, he actually came and did some different shorts at MGM, about 60 of them. Some of them are considered his best work, but these movies for a long time went without having any proper restoration done. Unfortunately, a lot of the shorts got lost in a fire from the 1950s, and now that Warner Brothers owns the rights to releasing these titles on home video, they finally did the work to get the MGM titles on these exclusive editions. But I do have to point out, as far as Volume 2 goes, there has been some negative reception to this one. Mostly because the way that they've gone about these restorations have been through some second edition prints, ones that were circulated after the initial run, and some of them that were released on TV. So the restorations are about the best that they can do, given that the original elements are lost in that fire. But this one in particular had some bad DNR issues, and I guess some other issues with how they had to restore the shorts. So Volume 2, I guess, has some controversy. I don't think the controversy carried over to Volume 3. I don't think they had the same issues with Volume 1. But regardless, most of these shorts now have been released on Blu-ray, save a few. There's still a few of them from the 60 or so that he did with MGM that have yet to be released on Blu-ray. And my understanding is it's because they're in very rough shape, not ready to be released on Blu-ray. So hopefully they can find some more surviving elements in the future to release the rest of them on Blu-ray in some capacity. I don't even know if they're available on DVD or any other format. I assume that they probably were released in the 90s on TV back when Turner was airing them on Cartoon Network. That's how a lot of these first saw the light of day after many years after the theatrical releases anyway. So I'm hoping that the rest of them can find their way on home video at some point, and maybe they'll do a Volume 4, but like I said, there's only a few of them left. If anything, they might just do a complete collection of Tex Avery, which, you know, they did the same thing with Looney Tunes. They released 4 different collector's choice releases, and then they did a full bundle of it, 1 through 4, on a separate Blu-ray that was actually more affordable than buying them separately. So I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with Tex Avery if they ever get to restoring the rest of them. But like I said, I think it's only about like 5 or 6 shorts that have yet to be released on Blu-ray. But regardless, it's cool that they got nearly all those MGM shorts on Blu-ray. And that was pretty quick. That was everything for this episode. Next week I'm going to be moving on to some Kino releases and then some other random releases. There's always something new to add to my collection. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, and Lucas for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you'll be able to get some exclusive videos, some different vlogs in the future, and you'll be able to request your own movie review. I hope you stick around, Cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.